You've probably noticed that it's warming up out there, but don't worry, it's not going to be as oppressively hot and humid as it was earlier this month. If you look behind me here, temperatures are in the 89, 88 range here for today. Overnight tonight, 63, 64 degrees. So evenings are still plenty comfortable, and it won't be as oppressive because we have less humidity hanging around. So that will make a difference out there. Records, no, it was bad over in 2011, especially for this time of year. 101 at both Waco and DFW that year. The sultry summer of 2011. The only one that gets a nickname, the only other one that is 1980 with the sweltering summer of 1980 there. 1980 had all the records earlier in the season. 2011 was a little more hot on the back end. Normal is 85 degrees at DFW Airport, and DFW that is. Waco, 87 degrees. So we're still on the upper end of normal here. We're not really that far away from what's expected. I know that any 80s is too warm for some of you who want that sweater weather to set in, but it will come. It is on the way, just not quite yet. Medium high for your allergens today. We're still looking at elm and ragweed hanging around, and I know that ragweed is causing a lot of issues, so just keep those remedies and medications going for at least a little bit longer as we get into the season here. Now, I want to show you what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico here in a moment, but even in the open Atlantic, there's a lot of activity here. We're kind of on the backside of the peak of hurricane season, but man, we have seen the Atlantic wake up. First of all, we have right off the west coast of Africa. Keep in mind, this is what we call the main development region here. So just a 20% chance in the next 7 days, but a higher chance, an 80% chance of this system. But you notice it's pulling off to the north. We have Tropical Storm Joyce here, expected to pull off into the open water here, really continue into the open water and not really do much. And then Hurricane Isaac, again, way out in the middle of nowhere, out in the ocean. They're headed towards the UK, but looks to weaken there. So that will probably just become a low pressure system that will bring cooler temperatures and rain to the United Kingdom there and Ireland. So for the Gulf of Mexico here, well, we have this system coming up. 50% chance in the next 7 days. That's expected to increase. And this is kind of the forecast in terms of the average models. Most of the models, if you look at the mean of those results there, they take it up into a fairly, unfortunately, familiar track here, right towards the Yucatan Peninsula there and right towards the southeast coast. Now, Helene went in right near the Big Bend there in Florida, and this could very well take that same track, but it's still early. I want you to understand, don't cancel any vacation plans because of this. Just keep an eye on it. But once it develops and moves into the Gulf, we'll get a better idea of what we expect that to do. So we'll be bringing those updates, of course, from the National Hurricane Center. As far as what we expect here, here's those remnants of Helene and high pressure here as well. So between the clockwise flow of the high pressure and the counterclockwise flow here, we are still on that northern flow here. So that is helping to keep temperatures relatively cool. Even though there is a ridge of high pressure, we are well enough east of it, I would say, to keep things cool. We do have a cold front here off to the west, and we will get a cold front late week. It's going to be a weak one, though. It won't do much, won't bring any rain. We might have to wait a little longer for that. So here's the forecast here, 88, 89 degrees today, light north winds. Tomorrow, the winds are fairly light. I think the morning forecast, unfortunately, had inaccurate wind information, so I apologize for that. But light winds tomorrow, temperatures rising. We unfortunately could be looking at some air quality issues over the next couple of days, so be paying attention for those air quality alerts and those kind of things. We'll, of course, bring that to you. 90, 91, 91 for the first half of the week. Latter half of the week, we should get a weak front in here. It's not going to do much. It's not going to bring us any rain, might just bring a few clouds. Whatever comes in from the Gulf might bring some clouds and maybe a tick up in humidity just a little bit, but not much. 89, 88 to end the week. So it will be warm next weekend. We'll be in the upper 80s still, but I don't expect the humidity to be oppressive here. So just keep that in mind. That takes us all the way to October 5th. Now, looking 5, 6, 7 days beyond that, now this is going beyond the 7-day forecast where I tell you that everything's a toss-up. But the models are indicating we could get another storm system, could bring rain, cooler temperatures, that sort of thing. So if you're waiting for that mid to late October cool down, well, it could be on the horizon here. But for now, unfortunately, we just do have warmer temperatures. So stay tuned throughout the week. We'll bring you updates on what's brewing in the Gulf of Mexico, the possibility, unfortunately, of some air quality issues here, and at least temporarily warmer temperatures as we go through this week.